It's winter here in New England, and there's not much I can do outside. But what I can do is set up my indoor garden. I'm going to start off by demonstrating what can be done in just 6 linear feet of space. The perfect place to do that is in my sun porch. I'm here in the sun porch. I've taken all of the measurements, and the space I'm transforming is 6 feet by 14 feet. I've laid out the porch on graph paper and placed where I want all of my shelves and my planters to be. Now all I have to do is clear the space and get started. Today, I'm going to begin setting up my indoor garden. I'm really excited. I'm going to take a couple of pieces that were already here, and I'm just going to clean them up and restore them. I'm going to strip this laminate off. This is a table that I'm going to use as a base for my shelves. And I'm going to take these chairs and sand them down and shellac them. I'm using shellac because shellac is an all-natural product. It's a natural polymer, so basically it's a natural plastic. You do want to use it in a very well-ventilated area, so it's best to even use it outside if weather permits. This table and chairs look great. It's not fine furniture, but I've extended the life of them for a very good purpose. While the shellac on the table and chairs dried, I assembled this inexpensive, off-the-rack shelving unit. These shelves are made of solid wood and are surprisingly strong. They're perfect for me to customize. I've placed the shelving unit on this table so that more of the shelf could receive natural sunlight. They're going to be carrying a lot of weight, so I've fastened the shelving unit to the table for extra support. Next, I'm going to install my fluorescent tubes. To get my seedlings off to a good start, I'm using fluorescent tubes that are balanced for plants. These tubes have a color balance that is the same as natural daylight. Buy the tubes that are 5,000 degrees Kelvin. Fluorescent tubes also use 75% less energy than normal incandescent bulbs. I'm also using a timer to control when the lights come on and off automatically. I found these little plastic bins that I'm going to use as a little greenhouse to start my seedlings. They're really supposed to be storage containers for my closet. My mom gave them to me, but they're perfect as a little greenhouse to start my seedlings. To get our seedlings started off on the right track, we're going to use an organic potting mix, and I'm going to amend it with some rabbit pellets. Before I continue and expand my indoor garden, I just want to get a running total of how much I've spent on 6 linear feet so far. The shelves were $30, the lights were $16, and the flow tubes were $40. Add the miscellaneous expenses, which brings us to $169. That's less than half of what you would spend if you bought an all-in-one indoor garden kit. Now we're going to go to the fun part, which is planting our seeds. I've got the basics right here. I've got some green beans, and these are actually bush beans. I've got some cucumbers, which are so amazing, just right off the vine, and eating it fresh and raw, they're just fabulous. We also have these tomato seeds and these lettuce seeds that we're gonna grow. Now the bean and the cucumber take around 50 to 55 days to harvest. And the tomato and the lettuce, they take a little bit longer, around 80 to 85 days to harvest. All right, I'm gonna start off by just making little rows here. And I'm gonna kind of take the line just right there of the little shelving unit my mom gave me. I'm just gonna make a little trench. It's not too deep, it's about half an inch. And I'm just gonna plop them in. Pretty much around the time that I am gonna transplant these into bigger pots is when I'm gonna start some new ones. Now, with my nifty label maker, I'm gonna label each tray with today's date and what's in each tray. I purchased these little galvanized bins. Basically, if any water gets on them, they're not gonna get rusty and the stuff inside isn't gonna get damaged. In this one, I have basically all of my seeds. In this one, I've got pretty much all of my supplies. I've got my label maker, I've got a soil test kit, I've got some herb food. I also have these great mats, and later on I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with these mats. Now I've got a lot of space outside to grow vegetables this year. So what I'm going to do next, and this is going to be really amazing, I'm going to line the rest of these walls with extra shelf space and start all of my seedlings that I'm going to use and transplant into my outdoor garden beds. So I've done part of the expansion here in the indoor garden. This shelf is going to be dedicated to starting seedlings that I'm going to place in my exterior garden. I'm going to plant a bunch of different miscellaneous seeds here, and then I'm going to use these two shelves for special seeds. These special seeds need to have a certain temperature between 76 and 80 degrees for the soil to stay a consistent 76 to 80 degrees. And in order to do that, I'm going to use these heating mats. Now what these heating mats are going to do, once plugged in, is they're going to keep the temperature of the soil at least 76 to 80 degrees. Some of my seeds are very particular about that, and just having light on them alone at this time of the year isn't going to do it. So I have to start them with these mats underneath the seedling trays. In order for me to finish off my indoor garden, I'm going to put a row of shelves along this window. I have a leftover piece of plywood here that I'm going to shellac and just water seal. And I have a bunch of shelves ready to go to be placed on top of my plywood. I want to raise the shelves so that more sunlight can get to more of the shelves. I've got my shelves pretty much in place. Now, as you can see, this isn't the most stablest thing in the world. So what I want to do is I'm going to attach each shelving unit to itself, to each other. So I want to fasten these shelves to my plywood, and I'm using a little L bracket right here. All right, I'm done setting up my shelves. I'm so excited because now I can go crazy and plant seeds. Starting your own indoor garden doesn't have to be expensive. A really fun thing to do is to go around your house and look for normal household items that you would normally throw away and reuse them as seed starters. I have here a collection of stuff that I've found around my house. An old cookie container, a deli container, the bottom of a soda bottle, the bottom of a water bottle, the obligatory coffee can, an old plastic cup, and 2 planters that I'm going to reuse. The soil that I have here is a really good organic potting soil mixed in with some peat moss and some seed starter soil. And I've spruced it up with rabbit pellets. Now, the really good thing about using rabbit pellets as your fertilizer is that you don't have to compost rabbit pellets. They can be used right away. It's not a fertilizer that is going to burn your roots. I love using this tub because it prevents me from getting dirt all over the place. All I have to do is any container I want to fill, I put in this tub, fill it, and if anything spills out, it falls right back into the tub. And now for the fun part, planting your seeds. I've got a variety of seeds that I'm going to plant. This is a heritage seed called Big Boston, and it's lettuce. So this is Big Boston lettuce. And after I plant all of my containers, I'm going to water them all. I'm going to put this aside so that I can remember that I've already planted it. The other coffee can here, I'm going to put a little more dirt. And I'm going to plant I'm going to plant a few basil seeds. Okay, so now I've planted all of my reusable containers with amazing vegetables and flowers and herbs. I'm going to water everything and I'm going to place it on my new shelving unit. One of the most important things in your garden is your water supply. I've set up a little watering station here, and I've got 2 5-gallon buckets underneath here with water. I've filled them with municipal tap water and I'm letting them sit here. What's going to happen is the chemicals that they use to treat the water are going to evaporate, and the temperature of the water is going to adjust to the room temperature. I don't want any of those chemicals that they use to be in the water when I use them on my seedlings. I'm trying to grow organic vegetables, and what that water is going to do is it's going to kill some of the beneficial bacteria that I need in order for the organic process to actually take place. And the room temperature water is really good for the roots of my seedlings because we want to treat them well. We want to treat them like a baby. And the number one thing that we worry about in babies, in raising babies, is are they warm? So I want to use the warm water so that it doesn't shock the roots of the plants when I pour the water in. So I'm going to do some watering, and I've got my watering can here. I'm just dunking it in and filling it up with water. It's really, really easy.